Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I am your host, Robot Joe, and thank you for joining me today. Before we get started on this world travel, traveling abroad to all these beautiful countries and beautiful places, I thought it would be a great thing to start practicing with my camera here in the city I actually live and did not know that much about until I did some research for this video. So I think this would be very good practice and a lot of fun, and it'll be very interesting to explore because I actually live in Louisville, Kentucky. And this city is something that's very, very rich in culture and history. So that's exactly what we'll do today. I wanted to actually start filming right here behind me. You can see this is the Ohio River. This is like 980 miles long. On the other side is Indiana. And I think this is something very important to the city because this is where you would probably export and trade the most, get you all around the country. I think this river actually leads over to the Mississippi River. So it's something very, very cool and very interesting. For a future video, we'll definitely go across the bridge and explore Indiana. But I think downtown Louisville would be a great, great place to start this whole travel series off at. So that's exactly what we will do today. Interesting enough, did I rent a car? I didn't. Did I drive a car here? Yes. But how are we gonna get around this beautiful, beautiful city? Yeah, we're going on the scooters. That's how we're doing it. Let's go down this river and see what we can find before we head in to the city, which you can kind of see the top of the skyline over there. So let's get started there first. There's a statue of Abraham Lincoln right here, right beside the waterfront. And I almost passed that, but I thought it was more important to note, one, the quote over there, "A house divided against itself cannot stand." I think that's very interesting and maybe a little eerie, given the current political, I guess, problems in America today. But even crazier than that, I recently found out, I think Abraham Lincoln lived here in Louisville, Kentucky, and it's no secret he was assassinated, but his grandfather, also named Abraham Lincoln, was also assassinated by a Native American man. It's kind of weird how that just continued on. But yeah, this is right here by the waterfront, so I mean, waterfront in itself is a very historic area in downtown Louisville. But this is just on the way to our journey. We're trying to get to the actual downtown part, but it's hard. You got to keep stopping every 2 seconds because there's always something more interesting than the last 2 seconds. We've traveled probably about a mile and we're still not even that close to downtown. But behind me, you can kind of see the skyline a little bit. More interesting, well, probably not more interesting, but something to note. As you can see right over there is the Kfc Yum Center. That's where you're gonna have the more bigger concerts and events and stuff like that. It's an actual arena called the Yum Center because the Yum Center, the corporation is based here in Louisville, Kentucky. That's like people who own Taco Bell, I think Pizza Hut, KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, it would make sense. And interesting enough, and kind of a little bit funny, Kentucky has the most fast food restaurants per capita. And it's not that big of a state, so it has the most fast food restaurants per capita in the United States. And it's really, really funny because where I live, it's a more quiet part of town, a really small part of town actually. There's probably 25 fast food restaurants in that one little area. So I can't imagine throughout the whole entire city. But we are getting closer to the skyline, which is good. We got to get over there. Another thing I think is very, very interesting. We're about to go to France here in a few weeks and explore France. Louisville is how it's pronounced if you live here in Louisville. Some people say Louisville. I think Louisville might be closer to the actual pronunciation because Louisville was founded, I believe in 1778, somewhere around there, maybe 1780. And it was named after King Louis the 16th from France. So it has that French connection. And you'll see a lot of French influences here, so very interesting to know. Still, right here by the water, it's so hard to get far without seeing something interesting. And I've just seen this building up here. It's so beautiful, but it comes right down here, straight into the waterfront. I mean, the water comes right up here. And then there's this sign right here as well. No parking on wharf, I guess. Cars will be launched. Does that mean they will be launched into the water? Very, very interesting. We are almost to the first spot I want to go, which is right down there, and then downtown is right over there. But there's one more stop on this way right here, and it's right there, and it's that boat right there called Louisville Bell. So we have made it to one of our destinations. And it's still, more interestingly enough, right beside the waterfront. We are right here. This is the Louisville Bell. It's an iconic spot in Louisville. If you probably Google Louisville, it's going to be one of the things that pop up instantly. And this is in fact the oldest Mississippi-style steamboat in the world, I believe. I know it's over 100, maybe 120 years old, something like that. I'm sure it's had I'm sure it's had renovations and repairs done, but it is beautiful. I've seen it on pictures, I've seen it on the water, but it is so beautiful. And there is 3 steamboats here. I'm not sure in fact which one it is, but they are all so beautiful. So right here we have some of the visitors that have visited the Louisville Wharf, and these go back all the way to 1819. Pretty interesting. It even has Andrew Jackson on this list, Abraham Lincoln, Charles Dickens, and probably other people that you would be more familiar with me. Yeah. And we have finally arrived. We're actually right in front of the legendary Galt House in Louisville, Kentucky. But behind me you can see we are in the heart of downtown. That is the skyline. We're actually technically in the skyline. Yeah, man, so beautiful, so historic. There's a lot to see here. We are right by West Main Street, which is very good. I'm pretty sure that can get us to a lot of places. So let's go see what we can find. We're actually in front of the Yum Center building, which I was telling you about before. It looks a lot bigger here. This is where the Louisville Cardinals play. This is where the biggest musicians in the world play. I guess comedians come here as well. From what I heard or read, because nobody would talk about this kind of thing, that the Yum brand did $13 billion in sales last year, which is insane. That was during the pandemic. I'm sure everybody was eating fast food, stress eating. But that's crazy, $13 billion. I feel like that's as much as a small country's economy. So just to put it in perspective, that's insane. One more fact before we get back on the scooter and go find something else. In 1999, the first successful hand transplant ever was done here in Louisville. That's gotta be pretty weird. I don't know. I want to read it more into it and see exactly what happened. Let's go see what else we can find, because there's a lot of stuff. I have a lot of facts for you guys, and you would say, Robot Joe, man, you are the historian. I tell you what, I'm not. I'm just really good at using Google. All right, we are getting deeper into the heart of downtown, and behind me you can see this tall building. This is the Pnc Tower. I guess that's where the PNC banking would be based. But more interesting, what caught my eye is the architect of these buildings. You can kind of see the French architect designs and the influence, I guess you could say. So we are right in the heart of downtown. We are right in the middle of Main Street, half of it that way, half of that way. And we have found, this is a 21C Museum. This is, I believe this is 21C Museum. This is a very famous museum and hotel. You see the pink penguins up there. You see the naked statue right there. There's a red limo right outside. It's there all the time. It's beautiful. And then again, we are really close to right downtown. Yeah, this is where everybody's gonna come, and the tourism is right here. This is where you see all the workers doing their day-to-day business. There's some restaurants on here. This is where all the hotels are. A nice little shaded park over there. This is a nice spot. If you're coming to downtown Louisville, you would want to come right here, and this would kind of get you to everywhere you need to go. Located right across the street from me is the Louisville Slugger Museum, the Louisville Slugger store. Every Louisville Slugger bat built in the world is actually built right here at this factory. I've actually done the tour. It's pretty interesting. I think a little bit more interesting is that giant bat right behind me is an exact replica of what the bat Babe Ruth that used. Me, myself, I've never been a fan of baseball. But I think Babe Ruth has always been a pretty interesting individual. So I'm probably gonna show you the most interesting thing I could possibly show you on this video. Are you ready for it? Is it a statue? Is it a building? Is it a museum? It's actually none of those things. It's actually the sewer right here. And you could say, okay, I'll bite. How could that possibly be interesting? Well, back in 1981, the good year of 1981, I have actually no idea what else happened in 1981. But here in Louisville, there's a lot of factories here, manufacturing and stuff like that, and there's a soybean factory, and I guess the fumes from the soybean factory actually got caught in those sewers. It started building up and compressing, and then it built up so much that there happened to be an explosion for 2 entire miles. When I first read about this, I thought it was 2 blocks, and that itself was devastating. I was thinking, wow, 2 blocks, oh my God. But no, not even 2 blocks, 2 entire miles of downtown Louisville. I believe downtown, I could be wrong. But either way, 2 entire miles of the city were exploded, blown up, the street up. And fortunately, I'm not sure how, but actually nobody died. Maybe people were injured, but that's insane to me. Yeah, that little sewer people walk over every single day and they never thought, how could that be interesting? But it is. There's always something here in this city. Yeah, we're up here again by the water. It's hard to escape this dang water, but right here behind us, the famous hotel, the Galt House. There is the Louisville skyline right behind me. This is what would be known as the waterfront area, which I guess the whole area is waterfront area. But behind me we have Clark from the Lewis and Clark, and then I believe over there's a statue behind me that's actually Lewis. This is where they actually started their expedition at, and I think it's one of the most successful expeditions in history, in modern history. Two guys, man, they got a lot of stuff done. But man, it is beautiful out here. It is perfect weather today. This is a great day to explore and show you guys all this beautiful stuff. There's a bridge right here. You can kind of see it. You can actually walk from one side of Kentucky to Indiana. It's beautiful over there. We'll definitely do another video in Indiana. I didn't want to walk over there. I think that deserves its own video by itself. But let me just show you how massive this is. This is the Ohio River. This thing is wide. I mean, it's 980 miles long, but this thing is wide. And then right across that bridge right there, on the other side, is Indiana. See, we have some little boats coming through here. We have the Bell down there. Pretty far drop down. There's stuff everywhere here, man. It's so much. And if I wasn't traveling all the time, I probably will make another couple videos here. Yeah, man, this place is beautiful. I think this does justice starting off the first video here in the city I actually live. Before doing research for this video, I had no idea how much it was rich in history and culture and stuff like that. It's just a place I kind of take for granted because I live here, but I always want to go somewhere else. Today, man, I've actually been overwhelmed by how beautiful the city is when you actually take a stop and look around and absorb the stuff in. So, but we're not done quite yet. We still have a little bit to go to get back towards where we started at. And we're gonna take a kind of different route back, so maybe we'll see some more stuff on the way back. So riding a scooter, you know, you get hungry. I'm a human, I gotta eat. But unfortunately, America, they're not much for street food. There's laws, regulations, health department stuff. But every now and again, you find a hot dog cart. And you get you some nice hot dogs. So let's see exactly what these things look like. I'm sure they're gonna taste amazing. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. It's not the greatest, it's not the worst, it's a hot dog. Well, I do have to say that I've definitely seen more on this little journey than I have the couple years that I've lived here. And I think that's what happens when you take something for granted. If somebody new came here today, they would see the city probably the way that I did see it today. Because I tried to come here with fresh eyes and open mind. And I was just trying to explore. There were some things I wanted to show you here, but I didn't really want to put in a GPS and just find a designated area, you know, almost like an itinerary. I just wanted to explore and see what I could find, and I'm pretty happy with the things we did find. There's a hotel here, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, maybe Silbach or Silbach, maybe Silbach, and that's where the author Fitzgerald, God, I can't think of his name, something Fitzgerald, that's where he stayed, and he got the inspiration to write The Great Gatsby. He said that hotel and things around here that he's seen gave him the inspiration to write that novel, which is, you know, some say one of the greatest novels wrote. It's also been adapted into a movie, and there's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of famous people that came here from this city. Jennifer Lawrence, you know, she's a famous actress. She's from here. We got hip-hop artists like Jack Harlow and Bryson Tiller from here. Even some of the people that weren't born here per se, they got their start in this city as a young child. Tom Cruise went to school here in Louisville, and he got his first job as a paperboy here. I believe Diane Sawyer from the news, she was born here. And the greatest to ever do it, in my opinion, the most important person to come from this city, Muhammad Ali, a greater man outside the ring than he was in the ring. He was a fantastic boxer, one of the best to ever box. But the man he was outside the ring is what I think he is a legend for. And yeah, this city is very, very rich in culture and history. And today it was a lot of fun for me. I hope for you as well. The videos are gonna get better because this is the first day doing this style of video. So I thought it would be great practice with the camera and to see the city. And I had a lot of fun. I'll probably do another video, maybe two, before we head off to Paris to start our world travels. But I would hope you come along for all those and all the adventures because, yeah, we're just gonna explore, man, see what we can find. I don't want to plan too much because then, like I said, it feels like an itinerary. But it is a beautiful day, and I feel like this is the start of something great. So if you could, if you've made it this far, please leave a like and subscribe. It truly helps out. My name is Robot Joe, and I was glad to be your guide around Louisville, Kentucky today. Yeah. Drop some comments below if you know anything about Louisville, if you want to visit Louisville. Just drop some comments so we can converse. And that's pretty much it. The next video I plan on doing right across the water, right across the bridge over in, I believe it's New Albany, Indiana. Close to Louisville as it could possibly be, but a different culture entirely. So I think that'd be fun. Maybe do some comparing of the two cities. But you know me, until the next video, I will see you guys soon. Peace out.